Did I knock you down?
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Las Vegas Rotary Club. Connection to this fine city like no other. With friendship and camaraderie you can actually feel. Providing a foundation and grounding in service to others that at times will go unrecognized, but fully realized by the people you serve. My name is Kirk Alexander, and I'm the 102nd president of this fine club. For leading us in inspirational leadership thought and invocation is Suzette Wheeler. She's here somewhere. There she is.
And this is an invocation. Dear Lord, thank you for everything that we have. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for our friends and family. Thank you for all of the good things that you've given us, because all good things come from God. Thank you for everything. We love you tremendously. Amen.
Amen. All right, so there's a melodious voice in the room that everybody loves and hears. We haven't seen her in a while. So Tanya Waggle's going to lead us in song.
Golden voice.
Oh, thank you.
Dulcet tones.
So today I chose the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, so leading us in Pledge of Allegiance today is our Sergeant at Arms, Liz Rockwell.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So there's one thing I want to bring to your attention. Please be seated. There's need to try to recognize something that's happened just recently. Jim Tucker's wife has become very ill, and he will no longer be a member of our club. So keep that in your prayers. She's challenged with something that requires his 100% attention every day, and we'll miss him. I'll miss him. He was my mentor. So he means a lot to me. He's a very special man for a lot of us. So we'll be looking for a photographer to take his place for our meetings. Keep that in mind. Today, Sarah Thornton's going to do that. Next on the agenda, first of all, before we get to the Rotary moment presented by Jim Cole today, I'd like to introduce everybody to the head table. So I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, but I'm going to do my best. The person from UNLV the top student at the university. Her name, I believe, is Safia Gatali. And I have, of course, Dr. Keith Whitfield. And our speaker for the day is Ryan Juden. Ryan is going to show us how the magic is made at City Hall in North Las Vegas. So from there, I'd like to say Jim Polk to come up and give us his Rotary moment.
President Kirk, thank you. And just so you guys know, he texted me and said, Jim, you want to give a Rotary moment? And I couldn't touch Linda's from last week. And I said, look, I'm going to bore you guys to death. So just be ready to be bored, because I'm just going to tell you my story and why Judith and I are major donors at Rotary. So it's ironic that Michael Gordon and his wife are here. It's part of my speech. Jim Tucker's also part of my speech. For those of you who don't know Jim, I was going to join my dad's Rotary Club in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and then just picked up and moved out here. And so he said, I don't care if you have to come crawling back with your hands and knees, promise me you will join Rotary when you get to Las Vegas, and we'll figure out the rest. And so Jim Tucker, I called, pretty sure I talked to Susan Z and said, hey, I'm new in town, I'd like to join Rotary. And so Jim Tucker raised his hand and he said, hey, I'll be your sponsor. So he was my sponsor. He didn't know me from Adam. I mean, he had no idea who I was, but he's like, if you want to be a member of Rotary, I'll be your sponsor. So that's how I got started. And started off as a relatively decent Rotarian. I went through the 25 clubs, secretary, treasurer, and president. I did Ryler for a year. Probably 4 years actually. But then the firm I joined at that time moved to West Cheyenne, Cheyenne 215. So the commute was really long to come out of line. So I basically fell asleep. I mean, I was not a good Rotarian. I show up once a month, once a quarter. I distinctly remember walking in on June Terry Anderson. She was up here talking. I didn't even know who she was. I mean, that's how bad of a Rotarian I was. And so I got a call. Ed LaPierre was supposed to be the president the year that I was president. And some jerk lead at his company set me a standing appointment for 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. So Ed asked, can we just move this an hour forward, an hour back? And the guy wouldn't move it. So Ed had to step down. And so sitting on the couch, Randy calls me and he says, hey Jim, I got a question for you. Would you want to be president? So I said, just give me 1 second. I asked Judith and said, will you support me? And she said, and she supports me in everything except for my not cleaning up the dishes. So I was put on the board and completely unworthy of the position of president of this club. And I'll remember this to my dying day. It was at Michael's last meeting. Ironically, it's here. And your trivia fact of the day is back-to-back presidents, captains of their respective rugby teams. So that's your trivia fact for today. But so Sean looks at me and she says, with all earnestness, like, Jim, would you just please return my emails? I mean, it was just, that's not bad to get things about. So, but she didn't know that I'd been to PETS, and PETS is where they train you how to be a president, and so I learned a lot about what Rotary is, and I just happened to sit at the very front left corner of the room. They were all round tops, so I'm looking back diagonally. In my mind's eye, it goes to infinity. Obviously, the room didn't go to infinity, but I was looking at there are hundreds of incoming presidents in here. Like, Rotary is a lot more than I ever thought it was. And then I went to the international convention, which was in Toronto. And we had to have 2 opening sessions. There were so many Rotarians there. We filled up Toronto Maple Leaf Stadium twice. And really, I really got excited about being a Rotarian and doing this. And so I came back, and I felt like my Rotary heart was reignited. And I found a really good home, right? It was 100% right. He said, the day after you become president, your email box is going to go to nothing. No one's going to talk to you anymore. And I've been lucky enough
Chopped liver.
Sorry?
Chopped liver.
Chopped liver, yes, for sure. So I've been lucky enough to be working with Santa Claus. Working with gingers has been a blessing. We've had things going pretty well. And my Rotary moment's not, since it's not a tearjerker, but it was the year after we resumed from COVID. And so all the UNLV athletes are out there, and they're setting up the station. I'm walking around trying to help them. And the field days are really neat and a completely different experience than shopping. But so heard a senior talking to a freshman. I think it's the men's soccer team. I can't swear to that, but he says, "You're going to love this. This is my favorite thing we do all year." I had no idea that the student athletes liked it that much. I honestly thought they came just to get CLE credit or something like that. But the athletes like it as much as the kids. And it's really fun to see the kids running around, yelling and screaming and laughing. And they get off the bus. We have a Santa Claus there now, hugging them, and it's a great time. So I encourage you, if you don't like to shop like me, and Judith can attest to that too. Like shopping? Well, no, I got to find my nails or something. So yeah, I encourage you to come out. So please don't do what I did and become a writer in Rotary in Illinois. Stay engaged. This is a great club. We do great things. I love you all. God bless you. Thank you.
So while he's signing this brick, I want everybody to actually know that we used to call him El Jefe. And we called him El Jefe as a joke. And the thing that we did...
Hold on, let's get this thing straight.
So what we did in order to keep him around, when he said, I came in and I became president, I filled in for Ed Lapeer and all that kind of stuff. So we thought, because he was acting like a rhino, that we would keep him close. We made him chair, and he still is, by the way, of AV. And we were doing Zoom meetings at the time. So we knew that he had to be involved with the club. We weren't going to let him get away. Anyway, thank you, Jim. That's another brick toward that tree well. And anybody, I would encourage you that wants to get involved with that, please let me know. So I'd like to thank everybody that helped set up today. That would include Bob Warner, Demetrius Kouris, Deb Howard, Janice Lanke as part of the welcome team, Dave Jones, and Stu Litpoff in marketing presentation. And we have at the guest table, Lynn and selling tickets, Bob Pizer and Vera Dolan. And closing out today will be Michael Williams and I think is it Robert Marsh? Oh wow, good, very good. Recording our history today is Rodney Tucker, and on Facebook, Larry Goldstein. Thank you everybody that's helped me set up this meeting today. Keep it going. All right, so I'd like to get to guests. See, we've got visiting Rotarians. And we'll start with the visiting Rotarians. Guest Rotarians will follow that, and I think there's other people in the room today that are from other clubs that are going to do some kind of a banner exchange with us. So first up, anybody that's a guest of a Rotarian. Got any visiting? We've got guests of Rotarians, right? Which would you like to do first? Okay. So we're going to do guest Rotarians first. Put the mic closer to your mouth. Hello? Can you hear now? Okay. All
Hi everyone, my name is Nari. I have a guest from Los Angeles, Greg. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, Greg Martine, visiting from Los Angeles, and I'm Vice President of the Valley Economic Alliance, which covers 400 square miles of the San Fernando Valley, and we support all of the economic initiatives for the region. So thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
All right. New President Kirk and fellow Rotarians, as I mentioned before, my lovely wife Judith is here joining us, so thank you. And we have visiting Rotarians. We got more guests. All the way at the other end of the room.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I'd like to welcome Josie, who is my foreign exchange student for the year. She's from Denmark, and she's here visiting for 3 weeks to work her summer vacation.
Oh, very nice.
I have 2 guests today. One is Mr. Charlie Bryant. He just got released from the Tennessee prison system. He's back to visit us.
Yeah, Houston.
So, and I also have Tommy Juden, who is the son of our speaker today, and going to be graduating from high school in 2028.
All right, so then we have a visiting Rotarian as well.
Hello, I'm Michael Gordon, president of the Broomfield Rotary Club in Colorado. A club not as big as yours, not as active as this club. I've heard good things about this club. So I'm just, I wish maybe I could join this club one day. But I'm here to introduce former First Lady Amanda Gordon. And of course, somebody who was born during my presidency, who you guys may have seen as a young lady who's now a Tiger Scout and very involved in community service, Samuel Gordon.
I understand he's already done a project with you guys.
Yes, he's done a couple of projects, but the main thing, I'm sorry, I'm hogging the microphone like a past president. The main thing is I heard you guys have given past President Russ Swain the microphone. So I was here just to check and warn you, President Kirk, to not do that. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Any other visiting Rotarians, guest Rotarians?
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. My name is Sylvia. My last name is pronounced as CHI, but written as KI, Children. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Needham in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm happy to be here. This is my first time in Las Vegas, and it's very hot. I'm here for a convention, World Financial Group, World Financial Builder System. It's been since Monday this week and ending today. But every time I visit a new town, I look for a club where I can do a makeup for myself. Thank you so much. You're in big number. My club is about 26 active members. But I'm surprised Las Vegas is a very big group. Thank you.
You're welcome here anytime. Liz has a banner she'd like to give you to take back to your club. Very good. All right. Any other guests of Rotary today? Anybody else? I don't want to miss anyone. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And I think the only thing left to be done is to give you some ideas of what this club is about and what's going on with our announcements. We have a table in the middle of the room that's going to give us an update on the projects we have going on, the things that are upcoming, and maybe a follow-up on what we've done.
Hello, everyone. So y'all know I'm in charge of corporate tours. So we have one coming up very soon, the end of August. It's going to be at the RTC, Southern Nevada. We're going to be in their war room, as they call it. So we'll be able to witness over 1,000 cameras that are monitoring the highway traffic and also managing major incidents. So we're looking very forward to being able to have the opportunity to do this. And it will be on Friday, August 16th from 3:30 to 4:30. It'll be at the RTC Traffic Management Facility. Later, a map will come along with instructions on where we park. I'm just waiting on that information from them. And the cost, again, is always $25 per person, which goes directly to our foundation. And you're welcome to invite a guest. There is not a limitation on the amount of people that can attend. So, hope y'all come. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hi everyone, Janice Lemke, President-elect. I have a plea on behalf of Kimberly regarding the Rotary Youth Exchange. We always open up our heart, but we need to open up our homes. We have Hannah arriving August 4th, 6 months. We don't want to crush her dreams and have to cancel, so please, we need everyone's support. And when you are the host family, it doesn't mean you're alone. We all can engage and help fill up the day and activities. And these are memories that we need to keep making. So please, if you could see me after lunch, and of course reach out to Kimberly. We need everyone's help right now. We just can't cancel Hannah. It wouldn't be the Rotarian thing to do. Thanks.
And that can be a family that is vetted by the Rotary Youth Exchange team that is not necessarily a member of Rotary.
I'm Wet Hall. Dr. Kathy and I are the head of the Education Committee, and we're recruiting. We are regretfully losing Barbara Castro, who is a liaison for Walter Long Elementary School. That location is 2000 South Walnut. And I just Googled it, and it's 18 minutes east of here. It is probably one of the most delightful schools I have ever been involved in. They have professionally painted, and the principal is delightful. So if you would kindly see me afterwards, if you're interested. We really have nothing going on in the summer, so it's a fall through the end of the year. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. The golf putting tournament, our annual event, is coming up in September 23rd. It's a Monday night at Angel Park, and this is a event that helps to support the Rotary Youth Exchange program that Janice was just talking about. It's open to friends and family, Rotarians. We encourage children to come. The price is $50 per person. That includes your golfing and your dinner. And children 10 and under is $35. So please do reach out to your friends and family and invite them to attend. We are also looking for tournament sponsors. Right now we have food, beverage, printing, and marketing sponsorships available at $300, and whole sponsors available at $50. And this week I got my sponsorship for the youngest sponsor, Mr. Samuel Gordon.
Very good, very good. I believe that's it for the announcements, unless Jim Cole would like to tell us anything about Summer Santa Claus.
Hello again, thank you. So today, everybody who brought toiletries for the toiletry drive for Project 150, I greatly appreciate it. Like you mentioned, this year we bought $10,000 worth of new clothes for these kids for Project 150, and that's going to go in their collect ready for their store. They kids will come in and shop. and the toiletries are greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone who brought stuff in today. And finally, right after the meeting, I'm going to draw up Project 150, and we're going to unbox some of the clothes that we purchased, and I invite anyone and everyone to come up and just get an idea of what it is your money is going to. So thanks.
Thank you, Jim. So you might as well stay standing and come on up and do the presentation for the Centennial Cone.
So it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Whitfield and I'm sorry, I know I can't say anything correct. Sathaya, please come up. Sathaya is, as Kirk mentioned, the #1 student on all of UNLV. And so years ago, some people that were smarter than me bought 100 Centennial medallions. And so that's part of the presentation today. Dr. Whitfield has a Centennial medallion for her as well as official recognition as the top student at UNLV this year.
Thank you, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, come on, you're the Rotary Club. I expect a lot out of you guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Works the second time, I don't know why. It is so good to be here with you. When I was coming in, somebody said, "Is this your first time?" I was like, "Oh no." You know, I figured I had a table sit here or something. I have so enjoyed your welcoming spirit. As you may remember, you all were one of my first speeches that I gave, or talks that I gave during COVID, because I started in August of 2020. And so I've always felt a certain sense of connection with you all and follow the things that you do. You do incredible things for our community. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. So it's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon to make a special presentation. In 1964, I know, no one here was born even before then, but in 1964, the Las Vegas Rotary Club presented 101 Nevada Centennial Medallions to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas to recognize the state's centennial celebration. This is what they look like. You haven't seen one? They're very special, only 101 of them. And the plan is that the final medallion will be presented in 2064 on the state's 200th anniversary. So it's my pleasure to be here with you today to present the medallion from this year to one of our most recent graduates, Sophia Bentawi. Living by the motto of never stop learning, Sophia is overflowing with both heart and commitment. She is a second-generation Muslim-American UNLV employee and an author who continues to overcome the odds with a smile on her face. One of her instructors described her as a kind-hearted person who knows how to bring the sunshine on any cloudy day.
Me too, I'm sorry.
Yeah, watch her smile, you'll get it. Impressively budgeting a 20-hour work week with being a 24/7 student. She served as Vice President of Rebel Educators, Managing Editor for Beyond Thought Creative Arts Journal, and was also selected as a Collaborative Research Fellow for the Nevada Educator Preparation Institute. During her undergraduate experience, she presented at national conferences, submitted manuscripts, and enhanced her knowledge as a teacher-researcher. Her desire to enrich the lives of education went even further by mentoring CCSD students through a teaching practicum at Silverado High School. Her list of accomplishments reads like a telephone book. Honestly, you all would really be getting to dessert by the time we were finished, but let me just highlight just a few things. For one, she's the winner of the Joyce Woodhouse Award for dedication to improving education in Nevada, the Lance and Elena Calvert Award for undergraduate research, the 2023 Pioneer Award from the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society, and the EDUCAUSE Professional Pipeline Scholarship. She graduated very recently. You came to my side, right? I shook your hand, yeah. when you see graduation, there's these two lines from two different sides, and I get to shake hands on one side. And sometimes I have to run over because I see people on the other side. It keeps me busy, but I was lucky enough to be able to shake her hand as she just recently walked across the stage. With dual degrees, a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education and a Bachelor of Arts in English. She plans to pursue a master's degree in English while continuing to work in UNLV's Instructional Technology Services. Please join me in congratulating Sophia on a job well done.
Thank you and congratulations. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, next up, we have Don Holland making a presentation of Wetzel Awards to our airmen that are in the room. And then we'll try to squeeze in a raffle drawing. And then we're going to go right into our speaker for today.
Thank you, Kurt. We could have all of the Wetzel Award honorees. Sergeant, step forward, please. Since the spring of 2003, the Las Vegas Rotary Club has been giving an award every quarter to 5 deserving airmen at Nellis Air Force Base and also the crew. The award is designed to thank airmen who don't ordinarily receive awards. Those airmen who work hard in the trenches, do not seek recognition, and are the unsung heroes. The award came about as a result of the involvement and untimely death of Colonel Scotty Wetzel, a longtime member of Las Vegas Rotary Club. During a tour by a Rotary Club of Nellis Air Force Base in February 2003, Scotty asked General Steve Wood, the Air Warfare Center commander at the time, what the Las Vegas Rotary Club could do to support Nellis Air Force Base. General Wood asked us to help honor the airmen who do good work at the base. Now, I'm not sure if anyone disagrees, but the fighter pilots and the officers get the glory, but the hard work is actually done by the enlistments. Is that?
Yes. Say yes.
Several weeks after Scotty had surgery and developed an infection and died in the hospital, the board of directors decided to take General Wood's request seriously. The club decided to award up to 5 airmen a quarter with what we call the Wetzel Award. In doing so, the club honors the contributions and memory of Scotty Wetzel and honors deserving airmen at Nellis and Creech Air Force bases. So the Wetzel Award package includes $200 in dining allowances at Lowry's Prime Rib, $200 in gaming gift cards, courtesy of the Las Vegas Rotary Club, 2 complimentary tickets to local entertainment shows, and your names on the Wetzel Award plaque in the Air Warfare Center. I was looking through some of the Air Force news recently, and the work that is done at Nellis Air Force Base. Nellis Air Force Base is arguably the premier Air Force base, especially when it comes to active air warfare. General Timothy Haw, about 2 weeks ago, released a report and made some comments about the current threats, which the folks at Nellis are on the front line in terms of the Air Force response. General Haw made a comment that China is conducting a focused campaign to undermine the nation's operational effectiveness and obtain information on sensitive acquisition programs and technology. The People's Republic of China is engaged in deliberate and sustained campaign to challenge the United States and our allies technologically while holding our critical systems and national infrastructure at risk, posing a threat to our defense industrial base. So the work that is done at Nellis and Creech is critically important, and the Wetzel Award is important because it honors the best folks at Nellis who are doing frontline work. So I'd like to read brief bios of some of all of those who are honoring today. And Bob, if you would. First, we have Staff Sergeant Rashawn Glover. Staff Sergeant Rashawn Glover serves as the non-commissioned officer in charge of the 414th Combat Training Squadron's Cyber Operations and Information Technology Division. He's demonstrated exceptional dedication and expertise in managing 4 unclassified and classified networks, 419 computer systems, 3 servers, and 33 network switches across 11 facilities powering the Air Combat Command's Red Flag exercise. Additionally, he collaborated with Nellis Communication Squadron to establish virtual local area networks with 5 fifth-generation fighter aircraft units during 2 large force combat training events. His efforts enhanced real-time communication between pilots and maintainers, which allowed 96 aircraft to complete 511 sorties and amass 1,400 flight hours. Staff Sergeant Rochelle Pratt. Staff Sergeant Pratt is assigned to the 432nd Operations Support Squadron as the wing training lead. She's gone above and beyond her assigned duties and stepped in to help several sections. During a recent process change, Rochelle utilized her technical expertise to reprogram multiple Excel documents and use to publish wing flying schedule products. By simplifying the process, she saved our team 10 hours of troubleshooting corrupted files. She also covered the wing simulator scheduling shop during a 2-week manning gap, allowing 4 wingmen to participate in skills bridge programs or prepare for an upcoming PCS. Additionally, she worked outside of the OSS. She organized an opportunity for 142 airmen across Nellis and Creech Air Force bases to participate in search and rescue scenarios on the Nevada Test and Training Range. Staff Sergeant Eric Ring. Staff Sergeant Eric J. Ring is one of our finest airmen. He is assigned to the 99th Security Forces Squadron as the non-commissioned officer in charge of reports and analysis. Eric organized and hosted a Department of the Air Force Criminal Justice Information Control Policing Policies and Procedures for Law Enforcement course as one of 4 bases selected enterprise-wide. The class fielded 19 investigative professionals from 4 different bases and focused on fingerprint and DNA collection, probable cause determination, and the manual courts martial. Additionally, he coordinated joint training with the 820th Red Horse Squadron, where he was instrumental in testing limitations and immediate visual assessment capabilities of the Ghost Robotics robot dog platform for expeditionary employment. He also invested in the Project Quesada outreach events by demonstrating innovative robotics technologies to 328 local area students. Eric is pursuing higher education at the University of Arizona and has completed 2 classes this quarter toward a bachelor's degree in criminal and social justice. Senior Airman Kane Flores is not able to join us today, but Technical Sergeant Peterson is standing in to receive the award. Senior Airman Kane Flores is a driven and motivated paralegal assigned to the United States Air Force Warfare Center, Office of the Staff Judge Advocate. As a recent retrainee from A-10 Avionics, he executed in an undermanned legal he excelled in an undermanned legal office, managing robust claims and legal assistance programs serving 27,000 members in the Nellis community. He aided his 11-member team in accomplishing 698 notaries, 624 powers of attorney, saving 621 clients $152,000 in legal fees, and protecting over $50 million in property and personal assets. And finally, Senior Airman Alexandra Ortega. Senior Airman Alexandra Ortega is the personnel specialist responsible for all of the administrative functions within the 78th Attack Squadron. She oversees generating the orders allowing aircrew members to fly continuous combat operations covering 5 separate areas of responsibility. She was instrumental in driving a funding task directive from the numbered Air Force, performing a reconciliation of reserve annual tour days, returning 2 years worth of payday allotment, and $227,000 of funding back to the United States Air Force for emergency restoration. Alexandra was equally devoted to her educational avenue as she completed numerous courses for her Bachelor of Science in Operational Management and being named to the Dean's List for academic excellence. So, Technical Sergeant Peterson would like to say a few words of thanks to the Rotary Club.
Hi, good afternoon, Rotary members. I am Technical Sergeant Peterson, assigned to the Wing Staff Agency at Nellis Air Force Base. On behalf of the 99th Air Base Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Adrian Warren and Colonel Jason Glynn, we want to thank all of the Rotary members for their continued support to Nellis Air Force Base and all the military members assigned to outlying units as well, including Creech. Thank you to Mr. Holland for putting this together, and thanks to the staff at Laurie's Prime Rib for this lunch that we're able to enjoy together. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ron. Pleasure. Thank you, Bob. And congratulations to all of you. Enjoy it. So you have enough time to exhale, and we're going to bring up our guest speaker. I'm just a couple of minutes ahead on that, so I can do the raffle. Everybody's waiting with their tickets. So I was hoping we'd have time for that. So for the Lowry box, which is a new pot, $500. We had a winner last week, Larry Cohn. Congratulations to Larry. The last four on this ticket is 8141. Anybody 814? I can change it. Come on. No one? No one? 8141. Winner.
Take it to the cashier.
Yeah.
You do the run.
You to pick a card just like this.
Your father moved the family.
All right, but thank you. Thank you. Hold on. So while we're on the raffle, Mr. Cohen, would you like to come up and get your money? You want your money? He doesn't want it. Anybody else? I'll take bids on this. You know, I'm not telling you how much it is. We'll just take bids.
Larry doesn't need money. He's got money. There you go.
All right. So how much is it for?
$525.
All right, congratulations.
Now it's the time to give it back.
All right, that takes care of the raffle.
Lowry box.
The raffle is over. The lottery box are coming up. I have a great raffle. I love this. All right. So, if you want to come to Lowry's for lunch, dinner, or otherwise, have drinks in the bar, whatever it is, entertain guests, you need to have a number of 8080. 8080.
Oh, loser.
8080. All right. Come on up, Becky. Congratulations. You're going to have to stay extended here to get a picture. Because the raffle has come to a close.
There we go.
All right. So we don't want to take any more time because we have our speaker coming up. And I believe Sarah Thornton will be introducing him.
What a great day, right? Hopefully my pictures don't embarrass you. And thank you if you want to volunteer for pictures. Mr. Junin, we are so happy to have you here today. We have had the esteemed mayor of the city of North Las Vegas, and we are big fans. Mike asked me to introduce you because he didn't want people to get tired of him introducing all the amazing speakers we have this year. So I pulled a different bio of you, and it's very, very long. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the one that Mike gave us. Ryan was named the city manager of the city of North Las Vegas in 2018. He first joined the city in 2013 as chief of staff and was later promoted to assistant city manager in 2015. In 2014, he developed the strategy and plan used to successfully resolve the city's long-term labor disputes. He also helped implement a comprehensive plan to restructure city government with operational and organizational changes. The part that we're excited about, Ryan, is that you are active in the community where you serve on the executive board of directors for 3 Square Food Bank, which has been here many times. Was appointed to serve on the Clark County School District Community Budget Advisory Committee. We've had the Clark County School District here as well. Was appointed to serve on the College of Southern Nevada President Search Committee and more. Ryan has been married to his wife Debbie for 23 years and they have 4 active boys and 1 little girl. I noticed that because I think probably half of this club has you beat in 23 years. We're so happy to have you. Come on up. Ryan,
Well, it is great to be here with you all. I want to thank you for having me. I brought my middle son, Tommy, with me. When we got in the car and came here, he said, "Is this for tax purposes?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "When you get some kind of tax write-off for taking me?" I guess because now I've left the city, I'm in the private sector, and I think he thinks him and his siblings are just little, things that the parents didn't bonus depreciate or something. Just running around. But I'm glad that Tommy's here with me. Whenever I was asked to speak, I said, well, I'm no longer going to be city manager of North Las Vegas. And they said, well, that's good, actually. Then you can come and tell how government really works. I thought, well, I wouldn't do it before. I would have said it before. There was nothing to hide before, necessarily. I came into the city of North Las Vegas during a very unique time. This was the state of the city of North Las Vegas in 2013. It was in state receivership under fiscal watch by the state. Basically, it had 2 years to kind of get everything figured out, and they were going to dissolve the city, which we believed would have had really bad impact for Southern Nevada, specifically for North Las Vegas. It had a highly speculative bond rating. So if you think of municipal bond rating, its probably credit rating is somewhere around 150. It was actually 5 levels below junk. If you looked at S&P, it was 7 if you looked at Moody's. And so it was in a really dire situation as a city. We were in litigation with all of our unions, 152.6 million structural deficit. And you can see the list there. There were a lot of challenges the city of North Las Vegas had. And so one of the first things that I got a call from Mayor Lee, who's come in here before, and he called me in the summer of 2012 and said, hey, I think I'm going to run for mayor of North Las Vegas. And I said, well, I don't think there is a North Las Vegas. I think it was dissolved. He goes, no, it's there. And I just want to know if it can be saved. And so I was at UNLV at the time. I was working at Brookings Institute and teaching over there. And I had the late Rob Lang, who's since passed away. We started working on a plan of how North Las Vegas could be saved, how you would leverage assets, approach it very much like a business, because that was my former background before I went into the academy, was in business. And we put together a plan that the mayor then made some notes in, and it became a plan that we started executing over the time that I was there. I originally only committed to be at the city for 1 year. My wife calls it the longest year of our life, because it turned into 11. But originally, we figured, because I remember when I told her, I said, honey, the state says they're gonna give them 2 years. Like, within 1 year, we'll know if it's gonna work or not. If it's not, I'm out of there. I'm not gonna have it blamed on me. So it's generally probably only gonna be a year. And we seemed like that was something that was gonna happen. But as I got engaged and got involved, and we kept having new challenges, that letter of resignation, which I wrote 4 different times, never really came to pass, because we were doing such incredible things, and we were showing how government could really function at a different level. The first thing that we did is we really focused on our team. And we had an incredible team. We had Darren Adair, who was the founding CFO of Switch Communications. Sandra Douglas Morgan was our legal talent. She's now president of the Las Vegas Raiders. Mitch Fox, who you might know, he was somebody that was very well known in politics. Anytime there was a major debate, when Sharon Engel ran for Senate and she ran against Terry Reid, he moderated that debate. He was very well known in media. And we put together a team where we all were very good at our specific lanes, and we began implementing the plan to save North Las Vegas. And one of the things that we had was this vision right away, which I think really kind of liberated the entire city. And it came from Justice Brandeis, who was a Supreme Court justice, and he was kind of the founding thought, kind of current contemporary thought on federalism. Federalism is this concept that states are better places for policy to be implemented, not the federal level, right? Like, let's have, I don't know, a couple million guinea pigs instead of 300 million guinea pigs. Let's try things out at the state level. If they work there, let's try them at the federal level. But we kind of took that a little bit further, and we felt that local governments are truly a great place where they're laboratories of democracy, where we could try different things out. If they didn't work, we would just move in a different direction. And we weren't scared to do that. And that's something that government usually doesn't do. Government is kind of, because it's other people's money they're playing with, it's all of our money that they're playing with, generally when they make a mistake, they just throw more money at it. Or they just, Social Security, right? They just keep on, even though we know from economists and fiduciaries where Social Security is heading, they just keep doubling down on it. And so we felt to take a different approach, which was to kind of liberate staff to really be thoughtful and think of different things. And if they worked, we would do it. If they didn't, you're not going to lose your job, as long as it was thoughtful. Because mistakes is really how we learn. That's how we learn in the private sector, and that's how we knew we could learn in government. And that's something that was kind of new in North Las Vegas, but it's something that we implemented with a lot of success. Another concept that we have was this concept called grownomics. And this was this idea that government messes up, just like businesses mess up. Businesses mess up all the time. We all know this. There's maybe some flavored potato chips that comes out and you think, no one's going to eat that. Like, that's nasty. And it's gone like a month later. Because guess what? No one ate it. It was totally nasty. So business makes mistakes all the time. Well, government does too. But the problem is lots of times when government makes the mistakes, unlike a business, when they make a mistake, they just go down to the basement, fire up the presses, and print more money. They just cover up their mistake by playing with fiduciary or by fiscal and monetary policy. And so how local governments do it is they make a mistake, they go back to ratepayers, and they increase your taxes. And that's something that covers up their mistakes. And so we had this concept that North Las Vegas had gotten to the point that they were, that I showed you on the second slide, not because of businesses or residents, other than the fact that residents voted in dummies. But other than that, they really got to that place because of management and elected officials. It wasn't the ratepayers. And we had this concept that instead of going and increasing taxes, what we would do is we would use economic development tools, and we would go and we would build and bring in a new tax base. And we called that Gronomics. And by generating and bringing a new tax base, and by very carefully making sure that we brought in the right composition of tax base, we could solve the revenue challenges that the city of North Las Vegas had in their deficits. And we were very successful in being able to do that. A concept that we learned right away is that time is money. I understood this as a private sector developer prior to coming into the city. And anytime I can get a project going fast and I don't have a bunch of government bureaucracy, lots of times that could be something just as simple as my carrying costs that I have at the bank. So I might have a project, for example. And in the state of Nevada, we're very limited in the economic development tools that we can provide. But I could talk to a business and I could say, okay, roundabout, what's your carrying cost? Like, how much is it going to cost? How much does it cost you every month to be in business? Because then they're looking at how long it's going to take them to open their doors. So maybe generally they're thinking it's going to take 12 months to open their doors, and they're burning through $1 million in cash every month. Well, every month I can take off and take away from that timeline where they can open their doors quicker is $1 million in savings in that example. And so we knew that by using time as a variable, that's something that we could be a competitive advantage to us, but also could be used where we could go and attract businesses. Because they were going to be building in North Las Vegas, and we knew time was a thing. We set a goal of 100 million square feet of new concrete. We believed that by achieving that goal, we would be able to generate the kind of revenues that were necessary to close the deficit and increase services to residents of North Las Vegas. We succeeded. That goal we shot, we're over 140 million square feet of new concrete that we attracted to the city of North Las Vegas. That's made up of multiple Fortune 500 companies, employing thousands of residents. And it was by basically going in, and I think my next slide is, yes, the field trip. So in my second week on the job, I asked some of the key directors that interface with business. I said, hey, let's meet down at the front, out in front of City Hall at 8:30. What are we going to do? I'm like, we're going on a field trip. And so I had these directors there. They weren't really sure what was going on. And I said, okay, I'm a new business coming into North Las Vegas. I want you to walk me through the entire process. And we walked into the doors of City Hall, and I say, okay, where do I go? And they say, well, you go over there. I said, where's the signage? So right away we're taking notes. Like, we need something that's going to orient businesses when they come in City Hall on how they're going to get around. No one likes to go to the government. Even government people don't like to go to the government. Right? You're just expecting to hear no. You're expecting that you're going to be late to your next appointment. You're not sure what to expect. If you've ever watched the cartoon movie Zootopia, their representation of government is a sloth. Right? This sloth in the DMV that's processing paperwork really slow. And so right away we started making notes. Then I go over to where I'm supposed to go, where I first fill out a business application. And I say, okay, now I'm no longer a business, now I'm that application. Where does it go? Oh, that goes to the 4th floor. We go up to the 4th floor. When it comes here, where does it go? It goes here. It goes in someone's box. And when they get to it, it goes to another person's box. We tracked everything around the city, from all the processes, everything that there was. And we identified bottlenecks. We identified places where there was redundancy, places where maybe there were things that existed before that you don't really need to do anymore, because a lot of things have been invented since then. Al Gore invented the internet. Like, there were a lot of things that were invented that maybe we didn't need to do processes the same way. And when we identified that, what we were able to do is significantly cut down processes in the city. So if you go into the city of North Las Vegas now, first of all, if you'd gone in 2013, there might have been processes that would take you 6 to 8 months to do. Now they're over the counter. You can get them done. If you just wait over there, it will be processed within a few minutes, and government's out of your hair. And you can get on going with business. So those were fundamental changes that we made in the city of North Las Vegas. And what it resulted in is, this is just a quick slide that shows the turnaround. We went from 152 million deficit to over 220 million surplus in a 10-year period. Our assessed valuation of the city of North Las Vegas, because we added that 140 million square feet of new concrete, went from 3.2 billion assessed valuation to over 13 billion assessed valuation. Well, that's important because I know you don't want, this is probably a mean way to say it, but that's more people to tax. And the reality is that's more people that enter into a social contract for government services that they can provide their fair share so the entire community can be lifted up. And the great thing about this, in the junk bond, we went from 5 levels below junk to 5 levels above into investment grade, which allowed us to go in and reinvest in the city hall, libraries, a park, several different things that we had bonded that previously the city had bonded, and that has a savings of over $70 million for residents of North Las Vegas over a 30-year period. And that's important because that $70 million was just going to go to whoever had the bond proceeds, was going to get probably some prince in Saudi Arabia or something that was invested in our bond market. It was nothing that was going to be a benefit to the residents of North Las Vegas. And what's great is we did this with not only not raising taxes, but we cut fees. Residents of North Las Vegas, many residents of North Las Vegas saw their sewer fees cut in half, and other fees were reduced also. So government can function in ways that we expect it to function. It can function like a business when you implement those private sector principles within the public space. We had a very high functioning team. I'll kind of bounce through some of these slides, which after we faced the financial crisis as a team, that team was still in place when COVID happened, which allowed us, as we were very high functioning, we had already faced incredible crises, so we were able to take COVID and we led out in many ways on COVID. I'll just point one out, we created a highly successful vaccination registration program for $6,000. And why that's important is because the state did it for $6 million, theirs kept crashing. Why didn't ours crash? Because we had a culture in North Las Vegas where department directors could come with ideas, and our IT director said, hey, there's this program that's used in professional sports, and it's specifically designed to not crash because it's for ordering things in professional sports, and lots of times that happens at halftime or between innings when there's a lot of people all at once trying to do something, and it specifically doesn't crash. We said, well, let's use it. Because you got to remember, the first people that were going on to get these vaccinations were 80 and above. They were people that didn't really want to be on the computer anyways. And then when it crashed and they wanted these vaccinations, this became something that we implemented. It was $6,000, a little over $6,000. Never crashed, worked perfectly, and then we let out in the state on having vaccinations. Most people that got their early vaccinations got them in the city of North Las Vegas. And another reason they got them there is because our firefighters administered over 100,000 vaccinations. In comparison, the city of Las Vegas was around 1,000 because they'd outsourced it to other people. But we knew and had relationships with our bargaining groups where we said, guess what, firefighters, you're not just going to be like Mr. November and in the firehouse working on chili. Instead, what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you out there vaccinating the community. And they did, and it was incredible. We built a system that when they came in and got their first vaccination, working with folks from Nellis Air Force Base and from our National Guard, that once they got their vaccination, before they left the building, because remember, they had to get a second one. They were registered for their second one, and they left with a little card, so they didn't have to go on the internet anymore. They didn't have to clog it up. And then they already had their return appointment of when they were going to come back and get their next vaccination. And these folks, it was amazing going to other vaccination sites, which then later implemented some of the things that our fire department implemented, and seeing the difference between those that got their first vaccination and thought, okay, now I got to start the whole process over again, versus those that had done it, already had the second vaccination, and they were ready to go. And so these are some other examples of different things that we did. We started a school in North Las Vegas. I became a superintendent. Not something I really signed up for, but I didn't sign up for a lot of things that I did. And we created this, and the results from that school, as they've been published in Pew, ASU did a study on it. It was tremendous, the growth and gains that our students had. And we started because we knew our first responders needed a place for their kids to go. We also expanded it into hospital and other people that were on the front lines that needed to have childcare. And incredible results that came from that. And why I bring this up is because all governments, and now I work a lot more, I do some work with other governments, all governments have now gone through a crisis like North Las Vegas went through. Our team went through the financial crisis, which had us primed to deal with the COVID-19. But everyone's gone through COVID-19. And one of the things that whenever the city of Las Vegas had a budget presentation in the months after kind of everything had started opening back up and things were kind of coming back to normal, their city manager at the time, who's no longer their city manager, said in the paper, we're getting ready to return to normal. I had that, I brought that morning in to all my directors. I said, this is not us. We're not going back to normal. We're going to take lessons we've learned from this pandemic. We're going to figure out ways we can do business better and we can do things more efficiently as a better return for our investors, being the taxpayers. So why it is a hopeful sign for government in general is because all governments went through the pandemic. Those that recognize they can harness the lessons that they learn, they can take their team and they can now start addressing challenges that maybe in the past they weren't able to deal with. And now through a new lens, they can start to address those challenges. We've seen examples of that in other governments. We continue to do that in the city of North Las Vegas. But that is basically, I don't think I have anything left. Yeah, so it's opportunities for other governments. The matrix. The reason I have all this on there is because a lot of people ask me, like, why'd you leave? Everything that, was going great. Well, I'm not the guy that you bring in when you just want the buses to come on time. I'm kind of the guy you bring in when everyone's running for the door, they don't know what to do. We had accomplished the goal. It was mission accomplished in many ways. And it was time for me to kind of move on. We had a great succession team that was put together. And I recognized also, so I don't know how many of you have ever seen The Matrix, the movie. Right? It's kind of hard to explain, but what it is generally is it's this concept that humans are all connected to this computer. They're all in this warehouse, like in these different like embryonic chambers, and they're just connected to the computer, and they're feeding the computer. Well, the main protagonist in the movie, he wakes up, and there's other people that have like woken up, and now they're outside of the computer. They realize like the world is just this matrix. It's run by computers, and you just think that you're awake and alive, but you're not really. You're just in this subconscious state feeding the computer. And what happens to the main character as he starts to challenge the matrix like sends guys after him to kill him because they want everyone to wake up. And this is in many ways what I felt my government experience is the more that we started challenging the system, the more the system was like, wait, get back in the system. Like, don't challenge the system. Right? Last legislative session, there was a bill in the legislature to remove me as city manager. Until the governor basically said, that's an example of a bill I will veto. And then Democrat legislative leadership said, well, you said your campaign promises you were never going to tip your hand on a bill that you're going to veto. You're going to wait till they all come to your desk. And Governor Lombardo said, yeah, well, this is an example of a stupid one that I'm just going to let you know now. I would veto. And that was because we challenged the matrix. The mayor one time, Mayor John Lee, who was instrumental in everything that we did, he walking by my office and he goes, great article in the paper today. And I said, that's going to come back to bite us. And he goes, no, it's not. And he's walking down the hall. Well, what he was talking about is there was an editorial in the RJ that said, City of North Las Vegas does government right, State of Nevada and City of Las Vegas do government wrong. And while I knew that was going to be a problem, which it was for us later on, is because we were outside of the matrix. And they want you back in the matrix. And so this is a challenge that you have many times in government, both local and federal. And I've been in federal government. I worked on the Hill. I worked in the White House. Like I understand government at different levels. It is a challenge for government to be innovative. I know at the time that I worked on the Hill, when you had an idea, it was always like, well, let's just wait a little bit. Maybe next Congress, the member will be in leadership or will have this other position. When I worked in the White House, it was like 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes, that program is like tick, 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 tick. You felt that tick, tick, tick all the time because you knew you had stuff that you needed to get done. And if it wasn't going to get done, especially because I worked in an area that was created by executive order, if it wasn't done, then next guy coming in, boom, he could change it or she could change it. So there was more of a sense of urgency there. And that's really what we had in the city of North Las Vegas. So that's basically my presentation. I want to know if there's any questions? Yeah. Oh, you're You're the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah, well, fire her.
Wow, tight ship.
Other side, Jerry.
Okay, I came to Las Vegas in 1953, and the population of all of Las Vegas was 30,000. North Las Vegas was known as Shantytown. Well, I think it's a miracle what you've created and where it is today. And I wanted to ask is how fast can you get your organization together to take over the federal government?
I think that's a statement. But I appreciate the sentiment.
So, well, it's an amazing story, and thank you so much. My question is, obviously, a police department and a fire department carrying it on your city budget is a burden. City of Las Vegas uses Metro. What were the trade-offs in terms of deciding to carry that expense versus letting the county do that?
Sure, well, as you probably were taught by your parents, nothing's free. Even though the city of Las Vegas has an interlocal with the county on Metro, they still have about the same amount of revenues go into that interlocal. So they still pay for it. So the obligation is still there. The challenge becomes, and I tease with Las Vegas, I used to tease with Betsy Fretwell, because we originally got together with them in a what we call shared service process to identify where their strengths were and how we could learn from them. And there was one time where she was kind of, rightfully so, because Las Vegas was being managed and run well. We at the time were ranked as the 7th worst managed city in America. This was in 2014. And so I was talking to her and she said something. I said, "Oh, Betsy, you're not even a real city. You don't have your own police department. You don't have your own water. You're in the desert and you don't have your own water. Like, you're not a real city." She's like, "Well, yeah, I'm just kidding. It's okay." So I wouldn't say that there's a difference in the fiscal impact on the city because they do that. In fact, there's probably some savings that they get in not having redundant systems, such as their own 911 center, the different things that they have. But we generally, as a region, work really well through interlocals, where our first responders will move across different jurisdictional boundaries depending on whatever the threat is.
It's pretty well known, everything that Mayor Lee did, and Gary, it's pretty well known that everybody knows how well Mayor Lee did, and you guys do continue doing this. Has the city of Las Vegas and Clark County gotten out of the matrix, or are they still living in it?
Yeah, it's a real problem. I mean, the city of Las Vegas, to me, and if there's any city employees with Las Vegas, just take it as a grain of salt, but with Badlands, that's a serious threat to the city of Las Vegas. There's not a lot of tools that they have in the Dillon State to really extract themselves from the challenge that creates. And the only real solution is probably going to be an impact on ratepayers, but also because Las Vegas shares the name of our economic engine. And having the city of Las Vegas be in some form of receivership or bankruptcy would have an international impact on the amount of money. We spend over $124 million a year advertising in Las Vegas for people to come here. If all of a sudden there's this what you call earned media, where there's all these stories out there of Las Vegas going bankrupt, that's kind of not really glitz and glamour. Like, I don't really want to, I don't know if they'll pay out if I win, right? Like, I think the impact that it could have to the region would be catastrophic. They do need to get out of the matrix. What you see in some instances in local governments is when they get so proud of saying no that they say no to the wrong people, and those people then sue, and they find out that they're right. So I think that's the challenge that you have in some of our governments, is they need to realize that if they were to orient themselves around trying to get to yes and being more customer service friendly and recognizing ratepayers are customers, and sometimes ratepayers come in there and they say, like, we pay your salary. Like, no, you actually don't. Like, I never go into Applebee's and tell the manager, like, I pay your salary. Government officials, for the most part, really are trying to do a good job. But the thing is they're like robots at some levels, like mid-level down, and they'll follow the ones and zeros that are put in front of them. it's leadership that needs to switch that out and put new ones and zeros in front of them, because they'll go and they'll follow them and completely change, and the organization can quickly change. Thank you.
So we have an award called Happy Feet for you. I appreciate your energy. This is giving shoes to the name of your name to children out of the schools that we service. There are 6 of them that we give students of those schools shoes every year. So this one will be in your name. Okay, great. Thanks, Sarah. All right, so with that, since there's a meeting right after this with the Las Vegas board, we're meeting in the Vintage Room. Anybody that wishes to attend is welcome to do so. We will get started in the next 10 minutes. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.